Hey guys, and welcome. If you are new here, I am Ashley with Lavish Grace Photography. I recently went through a rebranding. I was Ashley Nicole Photography and now Lavish Grace Photography. If you are new here, I have been a portrait photographer for 12 years now. My specialty is high school seniors, but I also shoot families and newborns, weddings for only very special people. I have not done a whole lot of gear review videos, even though those are the videos I get the most views on. They're also the ones I get the rudest comments on. So I am going to be talking about a lens today, but I want you to know that I am not a techie person. I pay attention to specs and things, but I'm not super scientific about it, and I'm not super into all of the tiny little details of what makes a lens. I know how the lens works and how it needs to work for my purposes. My point for this video is to show you in practice, or show you how a photographer works with this lens versus other lenses and how it works for me personally. Everybody's opinion is different when it comes to gear. So I'm gonna be talking about the 50mm RF 1.2. Now, a little backstory. I have had the R6 camera for just over a year now. Oh my gosh, it's probably been almost a year and a half now. And I've slowly started building up my RF lens lineup. I have shot with the 5D Mark III for years, and I had my lineup of EF lenses. I never had the 1.2 though. I have used the Sigma Art 1.4 for years. I loved it, had no problems with it whatsoever. Beautifully sharp, perfect lens. But they don't make Sigma Art lenses yet for the R6. They don't have RF lenses. So I had to actually look at the Canon lineup, and I bought and did a video on the RF 1.8. That video probably has the most rude comments on it that I have of any of my videos, but that's okay. That people have their opinions. They just need to be a little nicer about them. But after doing that video, I compared it to my Sigma Art, and I don't even remember what I concluded, but the 1.8 is a great lens. However, I did end up continue using my Sigma Art after using the 1.8 in photo shoots. It was great for portraits, but I definitely noticed quality differences when I was taking newborn photos, is when I really noticed the sharpness differences, the focus differences in it and my Sigma Art. With that being said, I really wanted an RF 50mm that I could rely on. I didn't want to have to use an adapter anymore for the Sigma, so I bought the 50mm 1.2. It's what I'm filming with right now, so I can't like hold it up. I did not know that I would fall so much in love with this lens. I just thought it was gonna be a replacement for my Sigma, and that I would continue using it the same amount that I used my Sigma, but no. I can't take the 50mm off of my camera. So traditionally, I actually shoot with my 100mm macro, and that is actually the lens, the first RF lens that I bought. That was my first staple lens that I needed in the RF lineup, was my 100mm macro. And so I, in the past, have used that lens for, I'm gonna say 80% of my shooting. Portrait sessions, senior sessions, I would leave the 100mm on. I'd only grab the 50mm or 35mm if there was a specific situation where I wanted more background. I personally love the compression of the 100mm, but since I've gotten this 50mm, I cannot take it off. It has such a beautiful quality. It is, the focus on it is amazing. I will say it is not the greatest for video if you don't have your microphone away from it, because you can really hear it focusing. It's not like a grinding, annoying focusing, but for video, my microphone definitely has to be away from the camera or it picks up on them. But the focus on this is so incredible, and I rarely have out of focus photos with this lens. The sharpness on this lens is absolutely unreal and beautiful. But what tops all of that is the background it produces. Even at 1.8 or 1.4, not going all the way down to 1.2, the background just has such a beautiful creamy quality. And then when you go to 1.2, it's like, what background? It's just a big blur. And sometimes I want that. I don't always. I mean, sometimes I want to see what's in the background, but there are times when that is just absolutely stunning. So I'm gonna show you some example pictures. I really wish I had like somebody here I could take pictures of, but I took some pictures of myself with the tripod outside earlier, and I used all 3 of my 50s, and they're all the same setting, so they're all at 1.8, f1.8, and yeah, all the settings are exactly the same, but I'm gonna put them up on the screen so you can see the difference in the background quality of the 1.8 50mm, the Sigma, and this beautiful 1.2. So again, these are all shot at 1.8, but if you look at the background, you can see even at the same aperture, same settings and everything, these are also straight out of camera as well. So I haven't done any editing on these photos, but you can tell it renders the background so much better even at that f-stop. I like throw in some pictures here shot with the Sigma Art. This is still a great lens. If they had the option to get the Sigma Art with an RF mount, I probably would have bought that instead, because it's been a great lens for me. I have no issues with it. I know some people have had focusing issues and had to have it calibrated or something. I've never had that with mine. Mine's always been really reliable, and I love it. The Sigma Art 35, that one I always had a little bit more sharpness than the 50mm, but even that 50mm I have taken some breathtaking photos with. So that is an amazing lens. But let's go into this lens. Here are I'm gonna pop up some pictures that I've taken with this lens so far. And the first photo shoot I had, of course I had to shoot at 1.2 because you just gotta test it out. But even shooting at 2.0 or 2.8, if you have group photos or a couple, it is so stinking beautiful. So again, I'm not one to go into super techie stuff. I'm just giving you my thoughts and my experience with them as a professional photographer. So take that however you want it. If you want a more in-depth techie review of these lenses, I'm sure there are plenty out there, but I just wanted to let you know how much I have fallen in love with this lens. So much so that my 100mm sometimes doesn't even go on the camera during my photo shoot, which is an insane thing for me to say. I recently had I'm gonna have a video on this. I have the footage, I just haven't put it together yet. But my senior model team photo shoot I just recently did last weekend, I used the 50mm the entire time. I did not even get my 100mm out. It went by so fast. I really wish that I had gotten some with it, but the 50mm does the job. It does it beautifully. So that should tell you how much I love it, because that 100 has been my baby for years. All right, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this one. If you want me, I haven't actually done a review or haven't talked about the 100mm RF mount. If you want me to compare it to the EF, or if you just want me to show you some more pictures with it, tell you what I think of it, let me know. I will. I'm always hesitant to talk about gear, but I have my behind the scenes of my model shoot video coming up, and I think I'm gonna do a video with some other photographers soon. I want to show how 4 different photographers edit the same photo. So that is in the works. I'm getting that all ready for y'all. But that's gonna wrap it up for this time, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you wanna see future videos, hit that subscribe button down below. Bye, guys. See you next time. This is bothersome. Y'all are gonna tear me apart anyways.